What's up, y'all? I'm Quincy. I'm a design manager, principal designer, design director, and here we are. We are on day 14 of this 30-day redesign journey. So we're almost halfway there. Tomorrow we'll be halfway there. So if you have not followed this or caught up, let me just give you a little 10-second catch up. I was let go from the Dow Jones, the Wall Street Journal back in November. Haven't been able to find a job ever since, and put in hundreds, if not thousands, of applications and reading zero offers. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what the job market is like. So I decided to challenge myself. What better way to design? So 30 days I'm spending, 30 straight days, 30 days I'm spending redesigning someone's website, marketing collateral, app, web app, whatever I can find of that company, annual report covers, essentially. But the caveat is, it's someone who's rejected my application. So it's gonna be funny, it's gonna be enlightening, and today we are doing Liberty Mutual. Let's get into it. Let's go. All right, so now we are in Figma, and I already brought in Liberty Mutual's website. And first glance, it looks clean. It looks nice. Not many qualms I have with the site. But we're still going to redesign it though. And some of the things that are happening and going on. So the navigation up top, you have the top navigation, and then you have the header here with the main navigation. And if you go down from the sides, everything really doesn't, from top to the first paragraph, doesn't line up. So I'm going to move everything over, so it lines up to the left and lines up to the right. So it seems like it might not be on the grid necessarily. And I did condense the screen to see if it was. So I like the image, but I think it can have more life to it. If we're talking about building resilient communities, I want a picture that depicts community, society, love, care. As we keep scrolling down, you have the paragraph here that's right underneath the hero and then before the first card, essentially. And it kind of feels like it's floating there. There's not really a lot happening. There's no relationship between the first paragraph and the hero. I mean, aside from the first paragraph just being a descriptor for the page or what you're about to read, there's really no association to it. So I want to bring this into the hero. If we scroll down, we have diversity, equity, and inclusion. So these three cards here: diversity, equity, inclusion, giving back, and sustainability. So we have these three cards there. They're nice, but I want to do something different. Something maybe that's a little edgy, but we're going to get into it. And if we keep scrolling down, we have these three things here: news, our businesses, awards. I mean, it's just simple. This part of their website is very simple. So I just want to bring a little bit more life to it. So let's get into it. So I'm going to bring in their logo, created the frame, adjusting the size of the logo, getting the colors correct, tokenization, whatever you want to call it, the colors, getting the right logo in there. And later on, I'm going to realize that this is not the right color logo because the logo is actually all blue. So I'm bringing my grid in, 30 pixels on both sides, 12 grid. And so I made the top, and I wanted to be I started out thinking I wanted it in a color, but as I create these buttons, I brought some navigation over from a previous project, and I'm just relabeling these to what corresponds on their website at this present moment. So as I line everything up, auto layout everything, bring in some UI kits, I go back to the website and I'm speccing because I want, that world icon in there. So as I'm creating that top nav, I'm realizing the yellow might not work, and that's not really what I want to do. So as I'm creating these components, because the top navigation element has a line over it to let you know what page or what group that you're in, essentially. So just like that, bringing over that teal, I'm going to make it exactly what it is, about Liberty Mutual. So just a lot of intricate things that are happening, making sure it's set to full width, lining everything up. And we're making progress. We're making way here. So just adjusting the heights of everything, because that bar, top bar, needs to line up with the top of that website. So this is where, I'm thinking maybe blue, but no, I want it not to be so stark on top. So we're going to switch to white, but I want to put this header in yellow, essentially, much like what they have, but I want a gradient to be behind it because I want an image actually to peek out from behind that. So I'm going to substitute an image in here. I'm just working out my gradient at this present moment. I go to pixels. I'm looking for something that's talking about care, diversity, community. And I found this great image of these two people that are looking at each other and working, seems to be volunteering at a clothing shelter or thrift shop or something like that. So it just speaks to diversity. It speaks to community, speaks to two different cultures aligning. So this is just really a phenomenal image. And I'm working out the gradient to really make sure it covers the header and you could see the header clearly. So a lot of adjustment is happening, with this header essentially. But I like it. And now I'm going to bring in the copy that's on that hero. And I want it to be very big and bold, but very sleek and elegant and modern. And I'm adjusting the height of that hero slightly because I want to bring in that paragraph. Now, remember I said at the beginning, there was no association, no relationship between that paragraph and everything else. So now I'm making a relationship because I'm putting it directly in that hero. It's not a carousel hero. It's just a static hero that's going to remain there. So now you see the relationship between the H1, that image, and that paragraph. Absolutely amazing, brilliant, beautiful. I like it. And I put a little separator in there, working out the color, see if it works or not. Making sure everything aligns to the grid perfectly, because everything has to align to the grid. All right, so now I'm making my way down the page. So I wanted another image in there, and I'm searching on Pexels. I found a few images, but I remember I downloaded an image I worked on a previous project of this Hispanic young lady who's smiling, who's cheering, and I want to bring her in. But I realized once I brought that down to crop it, how amazing would it be if she were to be peeking out, her head peeking out of that top, essentially. Now, this is where we get into just differences. So I brought it into Photoshop. I'm editing that image. I took out the background. I brought it back into Figma. I flipped it around. I put two images on top of each other, lining everything up, and I am just adjusting it. But now I get to see how it can peek out and the semblance between the brand Liberty Mutual in this image. How am I going to adjust it? So I just want to bring it down. I want the bottom portion to peek out because behind it, I want to put a background color. And the background color I'm going to put, it's really going to make it stand out and really going to make it look like it's Liberty Mutual. So now I'm just going to put in, I realized I could put the text behind it, but that's not what we're going to do. Put in this yellow. And this yellow works amazing, but I don't like it butting up against the top. So I'm going to adjust it and bring it in the copy, adjusting the copy, auto layouting it. And now I see, wow, that is perfect. The way it lays out, the way it is, I'm going to adjust a little bit more because I want it to not to butt up against the end. So I'm going to move it over, move those over, make sure it aligns to the grid. And I like it. So I'm going to duplicate it and we're going to work on the image below, which is giving back. Now I need a similar image. Now I need an image that has a background I could just quickly crop out, not too much hair going on. I don't want to be editing hair. It takes some time to edit hair. So I'm looking for an image. I landed on one image and I liked the image, but as you're going to see, it was a great image. Still looking for it. Getting pictures takes time. Not the quickest process, but that's why we sped up the video so you can see it. So I found an image that I liked. This woman holding her baby up. Almost looks like, maybe that they're at an adoption place and, she's holding this baby up and he's super happy. I'm adjusting it, trying to get it to work in the space. And it wasn't easy to get it work in the space, to get it lined up perfectly. And I could have did everything like this in Photoshop. Could have did it, could have made it happen. But I figured I'd bring the Figma was going to take me a little quicker to do. But I'm realizing that as I keep adjusting it, it's just not working for the space. The baby's legs are out. I want it to be very clear. Now I'm just lining everything up. I mean, it's cool, but it doesn't speak to me, much like those two images on top speak to me. So I'm going to go back into Pexels, and I found an image that's going to work, which is this young lady and her son. Just cutting them out. I'm in Photoshop, cutting them out. Thank God for Photoshop. Just does such amazing things. I'm going to bring this image in. I'm going to adjust it, and you're going to see that it begins to take shape and work for the space. Adjusting it, have to move things around. And again, I'm realizing I just did everything in Photoshop, but I wanted to try to do everything very quick, essentially. I mean, I'm not really on a deadline. I want to really finish these in a couple hours, essentially. So she's beginning to work for the space. He's beginning to work for the space. I like it, adjusting it just a little bit more. But I believe her head is just too far out. So I'm going to bring her down. And I like it. I think that works. Adjusting the text or the layouting it. And everything just works. From the image at the top in the hero to the diversity and now to the giving. So it just works. Everything lines up. Auto layouting this group. Now I need a third image, and I want something environmental, something CSR related. So a windmill. Windmill is going to work perfectly because those actual propellers, I guess you could say, can peek out of that image that we've created. And it just lends itself to the space too. So, it just represents sustainability, the windmills in there. Cut that windmill out in Photoshop. Now adjusting it, realizing that the width of it just is off. I'm not too sure why at all. So, but I was able to get it lined up pretty good. But that right propeller is just peeking out, and I don't want to hide it. I want it to just be out in that entire image. So just adjusting it. Got to adjust things, just like life. You got to adjust life. So bringing the text in, and I like it. The way these three cards just line up, the way they are, the effect on them, the transparency behind them, great. Now I realize I need to put a button in each and every one of these cards, make this button essentially blue. On their website, they have it as a teal button with a dark text color. I'm not too sure of that, so we're going to keep that primary blue that they have. The typeface color will be white. Now, I realized that I was not recording my last session. So I got a little further along, kind of finished everything. I brought in this card here, which is learn more about Liberty Mutual, news, our business, and our awards. Adjusted the text, made everything a token, a teal token essentially. And now I'm just making sure all the text, all the copy is associated with the style, with the tokens. We need to make sure of that. Don't like to do things ad hoc. I want to make sure everything is similar, even if I'm, this is essentially going to go in my portfolio. So I'm done. Project is finished. And let me show it to you guys.